The observation deck hummed with nervous energy as the Vrenkai clan gathered in silence. Their crimson scales caught the cold light of distant stars, each warrior standing rigid, claws hovering near ceremonial blades. They watched through the reinforced viewport as Lysa moved through the nursery chamber below, her soft pink skin stark against the gray metal walls. Rick, the clan's youngest huntmaster, pressed his snout closer to the glass. His tail twitched in confusion. She tends to it, he whispered, his translator collar rendering his growls into human speech, as if it were her own. One. RG. One Heronidid. Elder Throsik clicked his mandibles in disapproval. The human displays weakness. The cub should learn independence. Learn strength. This is not the Vrenkai way. We can see the Renkai way. But Rick couldn't look away. Below, Lysa knelt beside the sleeping platform where little Kess lay curled, whimpering. The cub was barely 3 cycles old, orphaned, when a reactor breach claimed both his parents during the long voyage. According to tradition, he should have been raised communally, rotating between warriors who would teach him to suppress fear, to fight, to survive. Instead, the human had volunteered. Command had been skeptical. Humans were enigmas, soft-bodied creatures who somehow dominated half the known galaxy. Despite lacking natural weapons, armor, or even decent sensory organs, they were simultaneously the most ruthless warriors and the most inexplicably gentle beings the Vrenkai had encountered. Paradoxes wrapped in fragile flesh. Lysa's hands moved with practiced care as she adjusted the thermal blanket around Kess's small form. The cub's scales were still soft, not yet hardened by maturity. He whimpered again, claws flexing in his sleep. Shh, little one, Lysa murmured, her voice carrying through the audio feed. She began to hum a strange, melodic sound that made Rick's chest tighten inexplicably. Human music was powerful in ways their kind didn't understand. It bypassed logic, striking something deeper. Kess's breathing steadied. Remarkable, Throsik admitted grudgingly. The cub responds to her presence. Because she makes him weak, hissed veteran Korash. She coddles him. When he faces the hunt trials, he will fail. He will survive. Rick interrupted, surprising himself with his boldness. All eyes turned to him. Forgive me, Elder, but I have studied the humans, watched their warriors. They are not weak because they care. They are terrifying because of it. Throsik's eyes narrowed. Explain, Rick gestured to the viewport. I have seen battle recordings. Human soldiers who fought through impossible wounds because their companions were in danger. Mothers who lifted debris that should have crushed them to save their young. They call it love. But it is not weakness. It is a weapon. It makes them unpredictable, unstoppable. Below, Lysa had produced a small object from her pocket, a worn, stuffed creature with button eyes and soft fabric fur. She tucked it beside Kess's snout. This was mine when I was small, she said softly. His name is Bear. He'll keep the nightmares away. Kess's small claws curled around the toy instinctively, drawing it close. Several warriors shifted uncomfortably. This display of vulnerability went against everything they knew. She diminishes him, Korash insisted. Does she? Rick challenged. Or does she forge something we cannot comprehend? Lysa sat beside the sleeping platform now, her back against the wall. One hand resting protectively on Kess's back. She would stay there all night. Rick knew this because she had done so every night since accepting guardianship. Humans required rest, yet she sacrificed hers willingly. Among humans, Rick continued, there is a saying I learned. People sleep peacefully in their beds at night, only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. But they have another saying too. It takes a village to raise a child. Both are true. Both are human. They are warriors who tuck cubs in, killers who sing lullabies. They hold contradictions. We cannot. Throssic was silent for a long moment. His claws scraped against the viewport's edge. "I have seen her personnel file," the elder finally admitted. Before she joined this colony ship, Lisa served in the Human Defense Corps. She held the line at the siege of Kepler 442. Alone in a bunker for 16 hours after her unit fell, she eliminated 47 enemy combatants with nothing but a damaged rifle and improvised explosives. Command awarded her their highest honor. Shocked silence rippled through the observers. "She is a decorated killer?" Korash breathed. "One of their finest," Throssic confirmed. "And now she sings to our orphaned cub." Reek felt something shift in his understanding. This was not weakness masquerading as strength, or strength pretending to be weakness. This was something uniquely human, the capacity to be both, fully, without contradiction. "The humans say they fight not because they hate what's in front of them," Rick said quietly, "but because they love what's behind them." Perhaps Kess will grow strong not despite her tenderness, but because of it. He will know he is valued, protected, loved, and when the time comes, he will fight with the fury of someone defending that gift. Below, Lisa began to sing softly an ancient human lullaby about stars and dreams and promises kept. Kess's tail curled contentedly around her wrist. The clan watched in silence. Some felt awe at the paradox before them. Others felt fear of what it might mean. A few felt hope that perhaps there were strengths beyond claws and scales, lessons beyond combat and survival. Throssic finally stepped back from the viewport. "The human teaches the cub something we cannot," he said. "Whether this makes him stronger or weaker, time will tell. But I begin to suspect the humans conquered the stars, not merely because they are fierce, but because they remember to be gentle. They are predators who pause to tuck cubs in." Rick nodded slowly. He understood now why humanity inspired such conflicting emotions across the galaxy. They were beings of impossible duality, soft and hard, violent and nurturing, logical and passionate, and perhaps that was their greatest weapon. As the clan dispersed, Rick remained at the viewport, watching Lysa keep her vigil. The warrior, who had held death at bay, now held life close, protecting it with equal ferocity. He didn't bow, but slowly, carefully, Rick smiled. It felt strange on his scaled features. This expression borrowed from humans, but it felt right. Below, the human tucked the cub in tighter. And somewhere in the cold expanse of space, the galaxy grew a little warmer.